Hello everybody. Today we are covering the topic of factorizing quadratics. This video is part 1 of 2 and will be covering the foundation material everyone needs to know, so regardless of the paper you are sitting, this video will be useful for you. If you're looking for harder quadratics, then you'll find that in the second part of this topic, and there will be a link to that video in the description which will be coming out soon. Now with that out of the way, let's get started. So firstly, you should familiarize yourself with the structure of these quadratics, these simple quadratics, and they'll come up like this, this, or this in the exam. So the common rule, the key concept for this is two numbers must multiply to make your C value here, and they must add to make your B value here, which is the number just in front of X. So in the first example, for example, this number here 7 represents B, and number 12 represents C. So when you're factorizing, your value of C has to be from 3 times 4, which will give you 12, and 3 plus 4, which will give you 7. And that's how you factorize this first example. The second example here, the larger value will be positive, as you have to have one negative value due to having a negative 12 when you times it, not 2. So you have minus 3 times 4, and that will give you minus 12. And minus 3 plus 4 gives you 1, in which case you write a single number as x. So for the third example, both values will be negative, and this is because minus times minus, so minus 3 times minus 4, will give you a positive value, so positive 12. And if you have a minus 3 and you add minus 4, that will give you minus 7, not positive. So the final example is that the larger value here will be negative. Like this question here, you have one value that's positive and one that's negative to give you a negative value for C. But you have to have the larger value being negative this time, as you need to get a negative value for B. So let's move on. This is the first example question here, and if you take a look, you'll see that the larger value will be positive, as it looks like one of our examples that we had previously. So if I was to now work this out, you could have 1 and minus 4. And since the larger value will be positive, you probably want to do minus 1 and then 4. But you could also have minus 2 and 2, or that switched around in this case. But the one that we have to find has to add, and these each add, and they have to add to create the number 3 here. So if we do 1 plus minus 4, we're going to get minus 3, so it's not that. If we did minus 2 plus 2, you'd get 0, so it's not that. And if you did 4 plus minus 1, then you'll get 3. So this is the answer. And you've got these two values here, and how you write that down as your answer, you do x minus 1 in a bracket, and then you do x plus 4. And there's your answer. We're going to move on to the first example question now. Well, not the first example, the first one that you're going to try. And I want you to have a go at this, and then I'm going to go over it now. So here we've got minus 6, and we're going to go minus 1 and 6. And then we're going to go 1 and 6. Then we're going to go 2 and minus 3. And then we're going to go minus 2 and 3. Now, we have to see which one of these is going to add to make x. So if we did this one here, minus 1 plus 6, we're going to get minus 5, so it's not that. If we added these two here, 1 and 6, we'll get 7, so it's not that. If we did minus 2 plus 3, then you'd get 1. So it's this one here, not this one here. That will give you minus 1. So what we're going to do here, again, we're going to do x minus 2, and then we're going to do x plus 3, sorry. And that's your answer. As you can see, once you start to get the hang of this, it gets pretty simple. And here we have, like the first example, a positive value, so both values of x are going to be positive. So we can do 1 and 6, and we're going to have 2 and 3. So these both times to make 6, but which one adds to make 6? This value here, that gives you 5. Adds to make 5. And then we're going to do x plus 2 and x plus 3. there's your answer. The next question here, we're going to have x squared minus 7x plus 12. And to work that out, you're going to want to get 12, and we're going to go 1 and 12. Then you're going to go 2 and 6, and then 3 and 4. Now you want to have two negative values here because you've got a negative value here and a positive value for 12. So we're going to have minus and minus on each of these. And if we take a look, minus 1 plus minus 12 is minus 13. So that's not that. This is minus 8. But this is minus 7 when we add it together. So here we will have x is equal to minus 3. X is equal to minus 4 there. So we'll do that. And there you go. Answer. This final question here may look a bit more difficult, but it's just different numbers. I can assure you it's not more difficult. So we're going to break this down again. You've got 1 and 27. And since this time you've got a negative value here, the larger value has to be negative. So 1 and minus 27, that doesn't make minus 6. The next value I can think of is 3 and 9. So it would have a minus 9. And if I added those two together, that would equal minus 6. So here, we've just found it straight away. So if I do x plus 3, x minus 9, we've got our answer here. And that's all for this video, because we've now gone through most of the different types of questions you're going to come across. And I hope you're able to understand factorizing simple quadratics, and I'll be releasing part 2 soon, where I'll be covering the harder quadratics for higher tier students. In the description of the video, you can get access to the PowerPoints with and without workings to help with your revision. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.